I hope you're all well and you've had a great day. And today's soundbite, we're going to have a look at the J-curve on why is this relevant to cryptocurrency and all of the blockchain technology. So one of the key concepts before we talk about the J-curve is actually speed of adoption. Now, speed of adoption is really important because if we look historically, things like cars, telephone, airplane, all these type of things, it took some time for the idea to catch on. Now, obviously, throughout the decades, technology gets quicker. Things like TV, as obviously you could advertise, you could tell people about things, and as we've moved into sort of the last sort of 5-7 years, social media has really gripped everybody's attention, and now 2.2 billion people have mobiles, they have access to the internet, and they have a flood of information constantly. So if you have a product or something, you want to get it out there, you really can. So it's really, really simple. You can use that to educate people and all the rest of it. So adoption is so much quicker now through just being able to tell people about it, but also the speed of technology and how things can be built and developed and brought to market. Now, when we talk about J-curves, there's been some what they call major bubbles over the last few years, and Bitcoin really shows the J-curve. So if we have a look at the purple line here, we can see that we see a bit of a big spike, all the hype, a drop down, and then this huge spike up. Now, obviously, that's Bitcoin going down to some crazy $100, and then we've seen a huge spike. Obviously, social media, lots of different things have been driving this, but this is a classic example of the J-curve. So just to explain it in a little bit more detail, so you currently have performance over time. Now, what generally happens is that something will launch, it's got loads of hype, then it will take a dip, and then eventually it will come back if it's obviously decent technology or a product that people need. Now, unfortunately, there is a mismatch between what actually happens and sort of stakeholders or investors' expectations. Now, these two things can get quite confused. So generally, expectations of people is that you buy into it and it continually starts to grow, and it's not really the case. So probably one of the ones, if you look at over a period of time, like Apple or even maybe Amazon, if you stretch that out over a long period of time, you can see this huge trajectory that's gone straight up. But if you break it down into smaller chunks, you can see it's all over the place. So it's up and down all the time. And what we need to understand is that, yes, things are a lot faster and things happen a lot faster, but these projects still take time to bring to fruition, for technology to adapt to, for bigger companies to see the benefits of the blockchain and all these different great things that are out there. But that's going to take time, unfortunately, and most people they bought in at X price and they expect it to go to whatever price. We live in quite a culture where things are on demand, we want it now, we want results, and it's just generally not the case with investing. So as a practical example, let's talk through the whole process of the J-curve and let's relate it to cryptocurrency to make it really relevant. So we're going to talk about the Crypto Rookies coin today. It doesn't exist, you can't go out and buy it, it's just an example. So first of all, it launches, loads of hype behind it, and it absolutely rockets. Now, after a while, the hype will die down and the price will drop. Now, sometimes that price will drop below the ICO price, and what's going on then is that the work is starting to begin. Now, in most cases, a lot of people aren't coming to the marketplace with a product. They're getting the funds and then building the teams and the support and the product in the background. Now, once this is happening, this isn't the sexy bit, unfortunately. The launch and the hype and everything else, it's all like, everyone gets behind that, but then when the hard work starts to happen, a lot of people get impatient and they sell and they go off and they try and find the next bit of hype or pump and dump and all the rest of it. So in this period, there's not a lot going on. It's not the greatest of times, but you just got to stick with it. Then the next bit is obviously they start to create the teams, build the product, alpha, beta testing, all the rest of it. And then we start to see some fruitions of product, we see wallet releases, and we start to see some traction, some movement, some news, some partnerships. Then all of a sudden, the coin or whatever it is will start generating revenue. So most coins I look at will generate some form of revenue. If I'm holding it, I get something back. And the reason for that is, if I'm holding it, I want two things out of it. I want to earn off it, and at the same time, I want the value of it to go up. And by staking it, generally, you take it out of circulation, and therefore that will generate a higher price. And therefore, people want to invest in it. They might have missed out on the ICO, but now they see that, it's at $1, and they can see this going to $5, so people start jumping in. And then we start to get into this full flow adoption where, it's peer-to-peer. Mate, did you realize, I'm using this app, it's awesome. I've just paid for so-and-so using Bitcoin. Oh, wow. I was looking for something like that. They download it. Then they tell someone else. And it's like bacteria multiplying. And before you know it, a whole bunch, you've got 100,000, 1 million users with your product. Very much something like this was Dr. Dre Beats headphones. They built the product. It didn't really catch fire straight off, and then they just made every bugger wear them. Wherever they went, they put it on people, and all of a sudden, they started to see loads of people, like famous people, wearing them because they'd given them out, basically. And then it got to a point where they started to see famous people actually buying them and wearing them. And I think it was some sort of American football player. And then it just got full adoption and just took off. And then obviously, the story. Apple bought them out for, I don't know, billions. So with a lot of these companies, I think a lot of them might have exit strategies. Things like 10x will have an exit strategy where they build the company to such a size and then sell it for hundreds of millions or billions. The biggest thing as well is that you really want to understand where you are in the J-curve process. If you understand that, it will also help you when you're looking to buy something as well. If the hype's died down, but it's a good product, probably a good time to buy. If it starts generating revenue, again, probably a good time to buy. So the price you would have got in at isn't as great as the ICO, but you're going to make money out of it. And I just want to leave you with this last one. So I think Warren Buffett really says this the best. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. So that's one of my biggest tips, is just be patient. Don't freak out with the markets. It's very volatile out there, and don't get emotionally involved with these things. Stay calm, stay cool-headed, and wait it out, and you will be fine. I hope you got loads of value out of today, and on my next video, I'm going to be talking about different ways of how to track your portfolio. Follow me on social media or join one of my Facebook groups, and I'll catch you on the next video. I'm feeling